Welcome back to the Bold Life Movement Podcast. I'm your host, Kimberly Rich, and you are listening to episode number 68. This is Uncut with Kim and Katie B from the Real Rebel Podcast.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm ready for it.
Okay, cool. Well, what people didn't get to see is that in the 2 seconds we were offline, setting our mics up, I managed to spill my wine everywhere. Things escalated very quickly over here. I got it on like some leather working that I'm doing. There's dye all over my hands. It became a scene pretty quickly. So,
what leather work are you doing?
You know, sometimes I dabble. I'm making some luggage tags for a group of friends.
Yeah, I remember you saying that.
Yeah.
Ow. Oh, sorry, and it just scratched her way up my leg.
So
we're on right now. This is
Bali life.
This is Luna.
Explain Luna.
Bali Luna. Okay, so Luna came into my life. I found her, hold on, pardon me. I found her crying alone in the Yoga Barn parking lot.
We'll go back to Yoga Barn in a second.
Oh, yeah. I was just walking past after my class, and like I heard this like cry, and I was like, is that a bird? I was like, that's probably a bird. Because I was like, you know, I've always fantasized about finding a lost kitten, and I'm like, you know, it's most likely it's a bird.
You manifested her. You did this to yourself.
I know.
You brought this on.
That's true.
This motherhood.
And even before I came to Bali, I was like, I just want to go there. I'm going to get like a little kitten. I'm going to foster her. Yeah. So legit, like she was already lined up for like however long. Yeah. So I'm like, oh, you know, and then it keeps going and I'm like, okay, what is this? And I go and I look in like the bushes where it's coming from. There's this like white, she was actually gray because she was so dirty, tiny little thing just like crying up into the air. And I was like, oh, and I just like scooped her up, and she didn't like it, of course. She was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah,
and then
what are you?
Are you allowed to use curse words on your podcast?
This is a very explicit show.
Excellent. And anyway, so then she immediately like nuzzled up into my neck where it was like warm and she felt safe, obviously. And I was like, oh shit, like here, like and I was like, what do I do with her? And then these other people were walking by, they were like, what's that? And I was like, I just found this cat. I don't know what to do. And they're like, oh, like it looks like it's yours now. And I'm like, what?
Yeah,
and then
that's your cat now.
Well, yeah, there's like this said rule, or maybe it is said that like if you find like a stray animal, it's like your problem now. Like you have to take care of it. And then this one woman was like, well, we don't want to take her away in case her mom is actually around. So, and which I agreed.
Yeah.
Like mama's always best. And then she's like, just put her on the ground and see if she runs away to her mom. I'm like, oh, that sounds like good logic.
Yeah. So test out nature.
So like plop her on the ground and she immediately runs up into the engine of a scooter. And I'm like, oh, like F. And then
now it's a scene.
Now it's a scene. Now she's stuck up in the scooter and like, we don't know whose scooter this is. Then one person comes, two people come, like this big like buff guy comes. He's like, we need to get us like some tools. And like everyone was like, then there was like 15 people around this scooter. And like she was going up to the point where she was up in the front of the scooter. Like, so they had to, this person, we never knew whose scooter it was. They had to take apart like the panels of the scooter. And
somehow I feel like that's okay in Bali though. Like in North America, if you touch someone else's scooter and like took it apart, not okay. But in Bali, it's like, oh, it's probably rented and we'll fix it. It's fine.
Yeah. Well, and that was it. Like 1 minute she's out and like a piece of plastic cracked off of the scooter. And like, she bit my hand immediately. She's like, rah! And I was like, and anyways, it was this big dramatic scene. Like this girl like wraps Luna in her shirt and like is calming her down. And I turn around and look and the scooter is like put back together and like the piece of plastic is like fixed. I was like, when did that happen? Like it was just, they immediately like once she was out, they just like fixed it up and like everyone dispersed and they're like, looks like she's yours. And I was like,
yeah. Like,
so I literally put her in my purse and zipped it up and rode like as slow as I've ever driven on a scooter to like the supermarket. Like was walking through the supermarket with this cat in my purse, trying to find kitty food. And it was an experience. And then I brought her home and I took her out of the bag and I put her on like my chest and immediately she fell asleep like immediately, and it was just so adorable.
And now she's yours for now.
For now. Yeah, she's mine now, and we've formed a very strong bond, and I'm absolutely, totally in love with her. But I'm leaving in July. Yeah. So I could take her all the way to Canada, but as like you and I have talked about before, I don't know like where my life is going, and I want to be traveling and everything like, so it doesn't make sense. It feels painful to know that I have to break up with her.
Yeah.
Separate from her, but it's ultimately for the best. Yeah.
I have a friend/client who just got a dog recently, and I was like, are you sure that you want to do that? Like, are you sure that you don't want to just watch Abby for me every time I'm out of town?
Yeah. Yeah.
Eggs, it's super convenient for me. But also because it is a huge responsibility. And, you know, it's funny that we talk about how in Bali it's kind of assumed that you would take the cat, even though anyone who could look at you knows you're not a permanent Bali resident.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. But we've talked about this offline. My friend told me when he lived in Koh Tao, the island of Koh Tao in Thailand, he was there working on his laptop, doing scuba stuff. Him and his then European girlfriend had a dog. Well, island law is like, well, when you leave the dog, and the dog just sort of like becomes someone else's dog. And when we went there to live in 2013, his former dog was like walking down the street, saw him, and just came up and remembered him, hopped on the front of his scooter like no time had passed. It was my God. Bananas.
That's crazy.
So Southeast Asia is like a completely different world.
The dog was just living life like on his own?
I think he had owners, but it's like island owners, you know?
They're not really anyone's in particular, like really.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, we've talked about how you're walking down the street in Bali and like the dogs are walking themselves down the street in Bali.
They're like dog clans. Like they're like, you know, just like specific ones with like different members, and they're like, hey, like get out of our way, like this is our like path. And you're like,
sorry, I was walking here.
Yeah, sorry. yeah. It's like a different like, and they don't, and that's the thing. It's kind of hard to get a cat adopted because they don't think about, I don't think, for the most part, about like having a cat as a pet,
right. Like as cats we can just take care of themselves.
Yeah, exactly. And so I guess maybe that's me. I have to let go of like a preconceived notion of because at home it's like, don't let the cat outside. Like if you adopt a cat in Canada, at least from the vet, the SPCA, they're like, we don't allow our cats to be outside. Yeah. If you adopt it, they must be an inside pet because we've scooped up too many like pancake cats off the road. Oh. And so
I'm going to edit that out of my version.
I'm keeping it in. But yeah. So it's just different. Like it's a totally different world here.
Yeah.
And it's fucking hot. It's hot.
Is it hotter than when I left? So just to give anyone who's new to the show or doesn't understand what this segment is or who Katie is.
Let's introduce this.
Or who I am for people listening to your show.
Yeah.
I'm Kimberly Rich of the Bold Life Movement podcast and...
Sure are.
Yay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And
Over
I'm
to you,
Katie Buman. Yeah, I'm Katie Buman, host of the Real Rebel podcast. And this segment we're doing is called, what did we decide to call it? Coffee with Katie and Kim, something like this.
And I have to acknowledge that because it's PM in my time zone and Saturday night while we're recording this, I'm having like a little wine date with my girl Katie.
I mean, I would totally be on the wine with you if it wouldn't. I don't know what it is about Bali being here, but I love wine. Like wine is my one true beverage aside from water, and water is a necessity. That's the only reason why I drink it, to stay alive so I can drink more wine. But
real talk.
But while I've been here, even like one glass of wine and the next day I have like a hangover, and I don't know what it is, so I can't do wine. It's devastating.
Well, I was kind of hoping that we would bring this up because...
Oh, really?
I say that facetiously, but partly because the wine in Bali is shit.
Yeah.
And like people deserve to know. And it's expensive. So if you're going to Bali, specifically Ubud, I can't speak to Seminyak. We'll be more specific. Ubud.
Yeah.
Know that it's not a big party scene.
Yes.
And we can get into that more. And B, the alcohol is like somewhat limited. Specifically, the wine is shit.
Yes. Yeah, there is. Okay, so I wanted to find out what's the best wine that I can get for the cheapest price. And so it's about 17, so Canadian or American, it would be about $17, $18. And it's called Plaga or something. I don't even know. Anyways, it's not good, but it's the best at that price.
Yeah,
and then there's another
worst.
one. Yeah, and there's an Australian one. I can't remember what it's called.
Well, you've already lost me. I don't love Australian
Yeah, anyway,
wine. Sorry,
that's the other good one. That's decent. But like even in Vancouver, if you were to spend like $19, $20 on a bottle of wine, you're getting a pretty decent bottle of wine. Like I really love Villa Teresa Prosecco at home. Like it is my number one go-to beverage.
We've talked about this.
Yes. And it's about $20 like after all is said and done, but to me it's worth it because it's so effing good. But here you're paying $20 and you're getting like a subpar wine, like a subpar wine.
Yeah, so subpar on a good day.
On a good day, yeah. It gets better the more you drink it, but that's like anything.
So if people are coming to Ubud, how do you pronounce it, by the way? Give me your Canadian Ubud. Okay, give me your Canadian pronunciation. I think I say Ubud.
Ubud. I think some people, like, someone once corrected me, they're like, it's Ubud. I was like, oh really? No, sorry.
That person will not be on Coffee with Katie and Kim.
Yeah.
Oh, I immediately started sweating just thinking about that.
Did you?
Could also be the wine. Could also be that I have to turn my air conditioning off when I have podcasts because it's too loud.
Okay.
Behind the scenes.
I feel like I should have a caveat for us then. If you hear a rooster crowing in the background or a cat meowing on my end, I'm sorry. I just can't fight the noise here. I'm just embracing the ambient Ubud background noise.
It's been good today, though. It's been really good. So, what was I saying? Oh, so if people are coming to Ubud expecting a party, which they're not going to find, what do you think? You've been there longer. I was there for like 2.5 weeks or something, and you've been there now for about 3 months.
2 months.
2 months. Okay.
2 months. Yeah, it will be. Yeah.
How would you describe the scene?
The party scene?
Nope, the Ubud scene.
The Ubud scene. Okay, how would I describe the Ubud scene?
I say that because
paint you a picture.
While you think, I say that because I have friends who are like fun, gregarious, like to have a good time kind of people. And they're like, loved your pictures from Bali. We can't wait to go. And I'm like, you guys might want to go to Seminyak.
Yeah. Or Canggu.
Yeah. So paint me a picture while I drink my wine.
So Ubud is more like, they call it like more the artisanal cultural part of Bali. It's like, it's beautiful. It has a real heart to it. Like there's lush jungle, there's rice fields all around. There's a lot of like religious ceremonies that go on. Like we had the experience of the water blessing, which was amazing.
That's awesome.
There's a lot of healing to be done here and to be had, like a lot of like even just massage and acupuncture and like spiritual cleansing and all this kind of stuff. And it's busy. It's still busy. Like there's still the main streets that are busy. There's still traffic. So it still has those elements that I think you find around Southeast Asia.
Yes.
Everywhere.
It still is a Southeast
It's still
Asian.
polluted. It's still like there's dogs running all over the place. There's like you find garbage like in the streams and whatever.
The sidewalks are treacherous.
There's like holes and stuff. Like
you have to look where you're walking or you may fall into the earth.
Yes. Yeah.
Like actually happen.
You'll never see you again.
Yeah.
So it's beautiful. I've been to Canggu also. I stayed overnight in Canggu. I rode my scooter down there. And Canggu is more like if you're like surfer dude, like want to shop, party, like, lay on the beach all day and tan. I don't tan, so it's not really an option for me. And
shout out redheads.
Yeah. And so I don't know. Ubud is still busy, it's still bustling, but it's a little calmer, it's a little greener, and it's a little more, it has like a little more of a richness to it, I would say.
It's very green. I want to go back to the healing comment. And there's a lot of healing that happens there. I went for said healing.
Yeah.
I think you went for said healing initially. And it's interesting because there definitely is that like air about town that everyone's like a little bit broken, but like obviously not broken because no one's broken, blah, 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 etc. You know? Hashtag whole life. Yeah. But you know what I'm saying? Like, there are people who go and end up getting stuck there, and there's a little bit of some Peter Pan syndrome going on. And I think that, I just think it's worth noting.
Yeah. Are we lagging a bit here?
We are lagging. Oh, is it back?
Oh, we're back. Okay, cool. And this is all a part of it today. This is what happens when someone's all the way in Bali.
Yeah.
There is a huge element of that. And it is a place to come to be healed. I think even just being here is healing. There's so much of the energy going around. I would caution about going too hard into it too fast. And also, like, some people I think are charlatans. I think there are people who are like genuinely like healers and really, but there are also people who are tapping into that part of the tourism, which is, you have to be careful. And also I think for healing, like sometimes you don't need to always go see a healer. Like even like I said, just being here is enough. Mm-hmm. And you can very quickly try to push too hard to like heal, like, and do all the things, go to the healer, go to this, go to that. And, I don't know. I think you can tip too far into that world where it becomes like a constant like effort to heal yourself. And in doing that, you lose the whole point of it. Like, you're pushing too hard. And so I feel that energy a lot around here. I also feel there are, hippies, I love them. Yogis, I love them. But
are we going back to Yoga Barn?
Oh, yeah. So
I hoped that we would. And I love it. So I think it's funny. I mean, we're on the same. I'm hitting things that make sound. We're both on the fringe of the woo. So continue.
Yeah. So I'm totally down for the. Hold on. Just as a side note, I am like, I do energy readings. I can read people's energy like crazy, highly intuitive, all this kind of stuff. I'm down. Like, I'm super down. Like Abraham Hicks, like I listen to that stuff
all the day.
Daily. I believe it 100%. But I think, and this is me being judgmental, but here we go. In places like Yoga Barn or other raw cafes, there is a person here that is like so far into that world, and it's kind of just like I've seen people just giving each other like really long hugs. There was this woman in the field hugging this man, and she was hugging him, and I was like, I walked around. It was like a celebration day in Nyepi, and I walked around. I was like, looking at things. I look back. This was like 5 minutes later. I'm like, what the fuck are they doing still hugging? And at this point, he had put his hands down, and he was kind of like looking around and like. It's
too much. It's too much.
It's too much. Like when people are like, hi.
Yes.
Like, oh, I just really feel like my heart center is so open. And I'm like, do you really like?
I do.
And I sound like a cynical. But I feel it. But like
it's the breathiness.
And this is just.
It's the breathiness. It's too breathy.
It's too breathy.
If you've gone breathy, you've gone too far.
It's gone too far. And there's just a bit of pretentiousness around the whole thing. There's a bit of like holier than thou. I've made it this far in my spiritual path that I'm covered in tattoos and I'm wearing mala beads. I'm wearing like 10 of them. And like my pants are super like, but you know what I mean? Like they're everywhere. And like, you know what I mean? And I just.
What do we call the group? Flower Collective?
The Feather Collective. And like, you do you. It's all good. It's all good. But just for me, it's a bit much. Just for where I'm at, and like I like to dive into that world, but I also like to keep an element of like realness about it. And
you got to keep your feet on the ground.
You got to keep your feet on the ground.
Float away.
Which I see a lot of people here, like older people who have been here you can tell for a long time they've been living here, and they're like flighty as fuck, and like they've drifted right off the. You need to have a balance. There's a reason why you have a root chakra, and there's a reason why you have a crown chakra. It's like you got to stay grounded, at the same time you got to be connected, and it's like a balance. And you see both. You see people who are totally shut off, and they're not. Their crown chakra is like gone, not gone, but totally dead. And then their root chakra is like so strong, like that they're not moving. But then you see people who have no groundedness in this world, and they're way up in the spiritual world, which is a beautiful thing. But you still are a human. You still are living this human experience. So you have to play in this realm.
I was going to say, the point of accessing that realm, the astral realm, is to be able to bring it back down to the humans, to this experience. So, there was... I think I told you about a conversation I had with someone there where I was asking very basic questions, just very simple, what do you do here? What's your life here? Kind of questions. And the answers I was getting were so abstract that I was like, is this the person that I'm speaking with? Or is this what being in Bali for greater than 3 years does to you? Or being in Ubud? And I was like, I cannot catch what you're putting down. And I gotta go.
And I'm busy. Well, I think there's something too that I think that as well. I think the people here who are like of Bali, like the Indonesian people, the Balinese, like they have it figured out. Like they're living the island life, they're chill, whatever. They're like very in tune spiritually, but they clearly have their feet on the ground. And I think
our tour person, our friend YN.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Totally. He's a perfect example of that. Like he took us to the water blessing, which we should get into that whole thing
definitely get into that.
Very soon. So I think that people come here with it's a bit like Never Never Land, if I could liken it to any place. And there are a lot of Peter Pans that come here, a lot of dudes that like just want to, and a lot of, I don't know about women too, but there's also that element of women like that they just come here and it's kind of, I don't know, it kind of sweeps you up. Like I can see how it sweeps you up. And if you're not careful, you just get like lost in this whirlwind. Like there's a woman that I spoke to at the post office and she was like, yeah, I just came here and now I've been here for 6 years and my family's just made peace with the fact that I'm here. And that's fine. And that's totally cool. But whenever I hear like a story like that, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like Bali is a wonderful place to come to and to come to for a month or 6 months or a year or even the 2 weeks like you were here.
Yeah.
But I already feel like, yes, it's beautiful here, but I need to go home at some point and like feel my roots and like feel where I'm from and reconnect with that part of my life. Because it's very ethereal here.
It totally is. And I think that it comes down to what's the intention behind staying? You know, like if you're going home, what's the intention behind going home? When you leave home to go to Bali, what's the intention? And, when people end up staying for that long, it's like, why? What do you need there that nowhere else could provide? Why is that your new home? I just have questions, Yeah.
I would 100% agree. And like I said, some people, they find it here and it is their home and it speaks to them and they find that groundedness here and that's, but I think a lot of the time it's a little bit of like a place to run away from things, because it is very like magical and like it kind of like is hypnotic in a way to be here. So you kind of get lost in Bali, which is a great thing, but you have to also recognize that like there is more. And it's kind of like sugar, like take it in a dose, like, it's like a treat.
Yeah.
But that's just my opinion. Again.
I mean, that being said, if I didn't have a dog and a wedding that I had to come home to, I totally would have stayed and played with you for.
And I wish you could have. You were here for just longer. 2 weeks. And do you want to go into why each of us came to Bali? Backstory?
Yeah, sure. So I actually just announced for the first time in a solo episode why I'd gone to Bali, the real story behind the Bali trip. It was...
You can find that in the show notes.
Yes. Oh.
Yes.
Real Rebel podcast. She's a pro.
I've done this before.
It was similar to your story. It was to heal from a breakup.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's Bali that did it or if it's time that has helped, but I'm in a remarkably different place now. I mean, I kept telling you while I was there, I wish you could see the real me. I wish you could see the real me. I'm not myself here. I'm so sad. And I am sick of being sad, and I'm sick of not feeling like myself. And now I'm not in that place anymore. So, but we talked about this offline.
Yes.
Had I not gone, you and I wouldn't know each other, and these episodes wouldn't exist. So I'm, beyond grateful for the way things have played out.
Yeah, well, everything happens for a reason. And the way we met was very serendipitous. Like, someone from Vancouver, Jenna Herbert, which I also interviewed her. You guys can reference that in the show notes. This is how we met, right? Through Jenna, if I can remember correctly. So Jenna posted she's from Vancouver. She posted on Facebook, headed to Bali. Let me know if if anyone knows anyone who's there. If anyone's there, then someone I knew messaged her. Kate Muker was saying, Katie's there. And then Jenna and I met. We had a girl date. And then she talked about you, and she was like, oh, my friend Kim is coming here. And then we met, and then boom, like right away, it was like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And it was amazing time. Like, it was perfect actually for me, because I came here as well to heal from a breakup and just to change up my scene. And it was just the perfect time. Like, it was so good.
Yeah.
And
we did all the
just
things.
Like sad breakup people. We did all the things.
Oh my God. It sounds so pathetic. I'm like, I swear we laughed as well. But
yes. We also cried.
It was therapeutic because we could relate, and I could get you to like energy heal me.
Yeah. Well, and just for people listening too, like, if you are going through a breakup, I like, shout out to you. Like, it is the hardest shit to do, because I have a theory, like, when somebody dies, they're gone. You can't see them, so you will never see them again. And in a way, there's like a finality to it. There's a closure to it. Yeah. But when you've been broken up with, which both of us, well, I mean, my story is a bit fuzzy, but there's like this openness. The person is out there. Yeah. You can go find them on social media if you so desire, which don't do it if you're listening, by the way. Yeah. Do not do it.
Hard pass.
But you can't, hard pass. Yeah. But you can't be with them anymore. And it's like, it's hard. So like, if you are feeling that pain right now, like I said, shout out to you.
And I promise that time does make it better.
Oh. Yeah. Promise. For me, like, you had a way faster turnaround than I did. Like, it was
a shorter relationship.
Yeah, very true. It's going on 2 months for me, just a little over 2 months for me now. And I really had a turnaround. Huh?
I thought it was 3.
No, well, 2.5.
Okay.
2.5. Yeah. And so, but my coach, Kylie, and I'm totally dropping so many of these. Episode 1, she's on episode 1.
Shout out episode 1.
Yeah.
Peep that in the show notes. Very long show notes.
Very long. I always have super long show notes.
Good.
But she was saying, it takes, for a breakup, it takes about, what did she say? 1/3 of the length of time you were in the relationship to actually get over it.
I say 1/2, and I think I stole that from a rom-com.
Really?
Yeah.
That's where all the good information is.
Yeah. Very accurate information about love and life.
Yeah. I mean, why go anywhere else? I couldn't even watch a rom-com. I couldn't watch anything. Like, when I was in the throes of the breakup, I could not listen to music, listen to a podcast, nothing. Like, literally nothing.
I've been there. I mean, the thing is, I feel like unless you meet the love of your life when you're 20, everyone has to go through that. Like, I had a breakup when I was 22. Again, it was like a 3-month relationship, but the intensity was there. And I literally couldn't listen to music. Like, you can't eat. Everything is too stimulating.
It's too much.
Yeah, you like literally can't be stimulated by sound.
No.
Which sounds crazy, but yeah.
It's totally, because it's so traumatic that like your nerves are shot. You're like, everything is raw. Like, you just, like you said, that's exactly right, is the stimulation. Like, even the thought of like food or putting it in your body is like, you can't even process that because you're processing so much without even realizing it. It's quite shit, but some amazing things can come from it, like this.
Oh my God. Let's take 2 seconds to just practice some gratitude for the amazing things that came from both of our breakups.
Yes. Okay. You go.
I will go first. I would never have met you, which feels absurd because anyone listening, KDB is an absolute angel. KDB earmuffs. She's an angel, and everyone should be so lucky to have a KDB in their life. And I just feel like we're kindred spirits. B, I wouldn't have met a new friend on the plane coming home who happens to record video and wants to help me record video for my brand, which is so special and serendipitous that we sat next to each other. You know, so grateful for that relationship. And I wouldn't have been able to let the people in my life show up for me the way that they did when I needed them had I not needed them. You know, I've talked to you offline about the fact that my mastermind group, we had our call, then I had the breakup call, then all three of them in 3 different time zones hopped back on the phone with me for another like hour plus conversation to help me feel better about what the hell had just happened. And that's like family. That's so rare and so special. And I was like, I'm the luckiest person in the world.
Yeah. You got to experience that, which you otherwise would not have if things were just puttering along as usual.
And the dialogues that ensued on our masterminds were a little bit more transparent, a little bit more, real life and personal, which has brought all of us so much closer. So I think that if you have a mastermind, be willing to talk about personal things because it will make you guys care about each other on a different level and help each other's businesses on a different level.
Yeah, well, and energy matches energy, right? So if someone's being open and real, then everyone else feels like they can a little bit more, right? So
100%.
We're all just freaking humans.
Gratitude, KDB.
Yeah, okay, so I have a lot to be thankful for. Being here, I mean, gratitude first for the relationship itself, because when I look back at it, like, he taught me so much about like business and even about Bali. He essentially set me up to know how to live here. So it was like total foreshadowing. I should have been like, something's gonna happen. So there's that, and I without sounding too selfish, but I'm really grateful for myself because I've stepped up to the plate in a lot of ways that I otherwise wouldn't have. Like riding a scooter by myself and like teaching myself how to do that. And
she looks so badass doing it, by the way.
Yeah, of course. Well, I mean, just so good. But yeah, and of course, like meeting you and like meeting all these people and like all these opportunities that have come and a huge and to riff more on you, like you allowed me to do that energy scan for you. You allowed me to do that whole session for you, which was like amazing. And like, there's so many opportunities like that we're creating for each other and just like a really great friendship. So really great friendships have come out of this. Like a handful of people have sprung up from this. And as well, like I've realized that I really didn't quite know fully who I was because I didn't have the time to dedicate to just being by myself. And so after you guys left, you were there for 2 weeks and it was like every night doing something, like we're going out, we're doing this.
Yeah.
My money is like flying out the window. Yeah. I'm just like spending like I'm on vacation, but I'm not because I'm living here. I was like, shit, gotta recover. But now I feel so grateful for being alone. And I just want to be a hermit. And I've realized it's because I've been going so hard and I've been giving so much to the men in my life and the other people in my life that I am exhausted on such a deep level that I just nap and work and do what I want, go for walks, be quiet. And this time I needed it so badly. Like I was saying to myself the other day on my walk, I was like, if you just need to be alone for the rest, I'm going home in July. If you need to be home for the rest of you, or be alone for the rest of your trip, that's totally cool because that's what I need. And I'm grateful for this chance to just fucking breathe, because life goes so fast and we get swept up in it, and we're giving to people, we're giving, and we forget about ourselves sometimes. And like, just to be able to just press the pause button and only do what I need to do for work. And then on the other hand, I just laze about, or I sleep, or I go do something. You know what I mean? Like, I go eat where I want to eat, and just grateful for that time.
You wake up and immediately do whatever you want to be doing. Yeah. Yeah, there's something beautiful about that.
Yeah.
So how are you balancing that autonomy with a need for love and connection? Like a desire not to go completely crazy.
Yeah. Well, I think I need the aloneness. So I think right now that's keeping me sane. Like, I think I've desperately needed this aloneness. I lived on Gabriel Island, which is on a Gulf island off of Vancouver Island, for 6 months above my grandparents' garage, pretty much alone, unless I was taking the ferry into town to see people. And I really like being alone. But today I woke up and I had a call with my naturopathic doctor who I work for, and he scanned me energetically from a distance. This is what he's taught me how to do. And side note, if anybody wants a session, just let me know.
Side note, Katie's going to do a session on me on the air in a couple weeks. Yeah. Get psyched.
Yep. Yeah. And so, but he was scanning me, and I went off the call because he was he scanned me, and I just burst into tears. And then I talked to my ex-boyfriend, Kevin, not my recent ex, but the one before him. Yeah. And we've created a wonderful friendship. And he got on the phone with him, and he was like, "What's up?" And I just immediately started crying. I was like, "I don't know why I'm crying." And this was just right before our call. You hadn't
gotten the energy out because there was no one to get it out with.
Well, yeah, and too, I was like, I think I'm lonely. Like, I think I just want to hug. Like, I just want to hug from somebody that I know. Like, not somebody that like I'm not going to get that here.
Cuddle party hug.
Yeah, I don't. Or like some person judgmental. Whatever. Humans judge. This is like, the thing. But yes. So it is tough. I think the better I start to feel, the more I'm going to want to be around other people. So I don't know. It's not balanced right now. In truth, it's not balanced.
But it'll get balanced.
It'll get balanced. And like phone calls and stuff like this are amazing. And FaceTime is amazing.
If you want a reason to be alone and still get connection, just start a podcast.
Yeah. Exactly. So yeah. So it's been good. It's been good.
So people go to Bali to heal their hearts and make new best friends. And they also go to experience things like holy waterfalls.
Oh yeah, we got to talk about this.
I feel like we got to talk about the holy waterfall because it was insanity.
Yeah, it was insane. What's your experience of it?
So, Wayan was this local man who one of our friends connected us with, and he took us in his van to his village, like an hour outside of Ubud. It was explaining the whole cultural benefits and traditions around the holy waterfall. We did a couple meditations. We'll post some pictures in the show notes so you can kind of see what we're talking about. And then he takes us to the waterfall after we purchased these sarongs. That was probably one of my favorite parts. Him helping us purchase the sarongs and completely calling out the fact that we needed his help because otherwise we were going to get charged skin tax.
Yes, the skin tax.
We have to address the skin tax.
Skin tax is if you're a white person, you're not like Balinese, you will get charged more no matter what. Like, it's like for everything.
It's simple, but it's a thing. And if you're white, you will experience it.
Yeah. It's
so funny.
Sometimes I'm like, what's the real price?
I know.
Like, I just want to say, I was like, is that with skin tax or without? Like, I just want to call them on it. Anyway.
It's the principle. Well,
so we're buying sarongs.
We buy these sarongs. We walk down this beautiful, like, bamboo-lined trail to the waterfall. And
like down
a lot of stairs that we then had to walk back up afterwards. It was a lot of stairs. And after a few meditations and a few offerings of like the flowers and, Wayan led us through this whole ritual. It was beautiful. We go to the waterfall, and that to me was the most impactful part. I'll let you take it over. Tell us about the waterfall.
Yeah. Okay. So we get out of our clothes. we become naked, but then we put our sarongs on top. So like a side note, I had like a fear about like exposure.
Oh, go on.
I was like, is it gonna like fall off, or like this is just like a towel, like essentially like a towel, and I'm naked, like.
And it's a powerful waterfall. Like
powerful fucking
when
waterfall.
you get under the waterfall, it's very powerful.
Yes. And this experience we had is not like a traditional or regular kind of tourist experience. This is kind of like YN took us to like where the locals go. And like there were some tourists there, but it's not like a big thing that people know about.
Yeah.
And so that was really, we were in the sticks, and that was really special. And basically the whole, on our way down, we stopped at temples and we did like, you know, a prayer, and we learned all about like the offering and what it means and what each of the flowers mean and the incense and all this stuff. And he sang a song, and then we had to apologize for anything that, you know, we've done wrong. And we did this like twice, I think, on our way down.
Yeah.
And then once when we got there and he put like water on our foreheads, this was after, and rice. But anyways, so the waterfall. So the whole point of the waterfall is to wash away the bad energy. Mm-hmm. And basically if you have a lot of, so when the water hits you and comes off of you and lands in the water below, it's either going to be clear or it's going to be like a milky white color. And basically YN was like, if there's a lot of that milky color coming off, that means you have a lot of negative energy coming off of your body that needs to come out. Which we were like,
yeah, I was like, I want to believe so bad.
I really want to believe this. And I was thinking to myself, like, this is going to be so awkward when like nothing happens.
Yeah.
And he's going to have to like explain how like, you know, oh, it must be because none of us have bad energy that the water's not changing color. And so he goes and shows us first what to do. So the waterfall is like coming off of this rock, and he goes up and he's like, okay, so first you have to like take the water 3 times and drink it. And then you have to take it and splash it on your forehead. So like your crown chakra or your third eye, and then your throat, and then your chest, and then heart chakra, and then you do it for all the other chakras.
Can I pause you for a second and say that I didn't actually drink it because I was scared to get sick?
Oh, really? I drank it because I was like, it's holy water. There's no bacteria in it.
And yet we all had upset tummies.
Did we?
Yes.
I didn't.
Maybe you're Bali acclimated. Yeah.
Jenna, I had a massive, terrible fever before.
Before?
Before you came, I had like a blackout, lying on the bathroom floor, sweating my mind out, throwing up all over the place fever.
Yeah, Bali belly. Continue.
I had it.
Anyway, I just wanted to be honest. YN, if you're listening, I didn't drink the water.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I drank water. Maybe that was not the wisest decision, but I really was feeling it. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to dive in all the way.
Well, I can't wait to explain what happened when you stood under, but keep going.
Okay, yeah. So Bayan stands under, and the water coming off of him is like super white and milky. And we're like, what the heck? And there's a lot of it coming off.
What did you think it was?
I thought it was bubbles.
Same.
I thought it was fizz. Like when the water hits the thing and then, you know,
and
fizz.
Then bubbles happen.
Like, yeah, and I was like, oh, okay, now this is going to happen for everybody. So next, Anna goes under, and she does the whole ritual, and she goes under, and the water that comes off of her is clear. And I was like, what the flip? How is this possible?
I was like,
and he was like,
doesn't make sense right now.
Yeah, and Wayan was like, oh, well, that's because she's not open enough. Like, she's not opening enough. The bad energy can't come out. She's resisting it too much.
Oh, is that what he said? I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I went next,
Anna.
which
I don't know if she heard that, so she was under the waterfall.
I don't know if she did. I think I told her. Okay. I don't know. She was like, what did he say? And I was like, well.
You're pure.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't think Anna actually has like a lot of negative in her life, because she was like pretty much,
she was chill AF.
She was chill. Like she's got it going on. I think maybe she was open, but there was no need for anything to come out. And then I went, and I don't know really. Oh, I mean, I know what happened when I went. There was apparently a shit ton of the water was like milky, just as much
for
as
a long time.
Yeah, I went under. Well, my experience from going under there, from my perspective, is I went under, And it's kind of crazy because like the water's pouring down, but you're supposed to be under there for as long as you can. So you have to figure out a way to breathe calmly while water is like rushing all over your face.
Yeah,
like,
and you're facing the rock. Head. You're leaning
you're breathing into the rock.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, so while I was under there, my heart was beating so fast. I was like trying to like, I was hyperventilating, and then I calmed myself down, and then I was crying. And like, I just felt like and I said to myself, lady, you got to stay under here for as long as you need. Don't worry about getting out because other people might be waiting. Just do it. And I said, when it's time for you to get out, you will feel that it's time.
Yeah.
And then you do it. And so I stayed under there for quite a while because I felt like I needed to.
Yeah. And you became able to breathe. Yeah.
Yeah. I was able to calmly enough that I could stay down, but there were moments of like hyperventilating. It came in waves. It was very, and then apparently like a shit ton of like that milky water was happening. Which was good. And I think Wayan, I don't know why. Like, I think there was just a lot going on for me and like a lot of negative energy.
Well, you also do healing work. So it's not surprising that someone else's negative energy might get onto you. Similar to Wayan.
Yeah. I think I'm highly empathic, and I think there's like a healing that happens all the time. I'm doing all the time. And so, yeah. I think there was some movement there for me. But then Jenna went under, and Jenna's just a boss, Jenna Herbert. And I think some came off. Or no, hers was clear.
No, some came off of her as well.
Some came off, yeah.
Yeah, just not as much.
And then
wah.
Why don't you tell us about yours? You were the final one.
Yeah, so most people listening to the show probably do not know that I have holes in my eardrums left over from tubes as an infant, because I used to get a lot of ear infections. So what that means is that I'm not able to get any water in my ears, even a drop, even a tear, which is like really pathetic to say. Oh yeah.
Really?
Yes. If I get any water in my ears, I get a really bad ear infection. So I was kind of hesitant to go under the waterfall, but I didn't want to miss out on the opportunity. And I, against my better judgment, plugged my ears and just leaned in. And Wayan, bless him, was trying to push me further in because I guess I wasn't under the holiness enough. And
you were not really under it.
I wasn't. I felt so under it. Well, fast forward to the very next day, I'm going to the pharmacy and purchasing antibiotics for an ear infection.
Yeah.
Right over the counter.
Was surprised.
Shout out Southeast Asia for letting me buy those for $2. Sorry, people who are listening that are anti-antibiotics, but I needed them. Mm-hmm. It happens. So I don't think any white stuff came off me. I'm just
it would have
negative energy still.
Well, I think that you just didn't really dunk yourself under. So there was no really water running off of you in a way. Do you know what I mean?
Gosh, that's disappointing.
I was like, she's barely under. Is she going to go further? Like, is she going to go under there? So I think that might have been why. Me. Well, you really didn't like that. You did not like the push.
I don't like people doing things to me.
Yeah, I know. I noticed. I was like, oh shit, Wayan. He like backed off. I was like,
yeah,
she's doing it. Okay. Yeah, but I mean, I get that because even from the small amount that you did get in your ears, you got a giant ear infection.
What? So do you want to know? Do you want to know something that I've never admitted to anyone? And I hope she doesn't listen to this episode.
Yes. Say it.
I don't think any water got in my ears when I leaned under.
Then what happened?
When Jenna leaned in to her first, to the waterfall, she hit her nose, remember? She leaned in too far, too fast, and hit her face on the rock, and then she flipped her head back. She flipped her head back because, like, that's scary, and it's a lot. It's, like, a little overwhelming of an experience. And when she flipped her head back, her hair whipped water back, and I got water in my ear in that moment, and I was like, shit! And I just sort of separated myself from the group for a moment and was trying to get the water out, but my hands are wet. It's a whole scene. And obviously I never said that in person because that's not fruitful. But this is behind the scenes in Bali with Kim. So
okay. Okay, that makes sense.
But
that makes more sense now.
Next time, earplugs, shower cap, the whole scene.
Yes. Yeah, you can get those fitted. Anyways, okay, we're going on a tangent. How long have we been talking for? This might be a very long episode,
It's been about
which is fine.
an hour almost. Yeah.
People who like it stick around.
Yeah.
And then we went to go see, and this is the part
else
where
is dead to us. No, I'm just kidding.
That's how I like to live my life.
Cheers.
Cheers. Oh, yeah, I have my matcha tea, which is cold now. Then we went to this very magical High Priestess, into her High Priestess home. I have mixed feelings about this. I'm not a pessimistic person. I sound like I am. I'm super open and, all of that. But
you're an energy scanner.
But I also you have to be discerning. You have to be mindful of other energies and things like this. And we went to this High Priestess, and I think she's a powerful woman. She felt powerful. But the experience, she was supposed to essentially kind of like tell us, answer any question we had. And right away, I got an energy. We walk up into her place. I get this energy kind of like, I don't know about this, like question mark. And then when she read Anna, and Anna asked the question, she didn't really get an answer. No, it was very general.
I don't think anyone really got an answer.
No one really got an answer except me. I got a very heartbreaking, like stab in the chest kind of answer.
But I think it was still so vague.
It was. Yeah.
It was like,
it was.
You could literally have said that to anyone who's ever had an ex.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, and all of the questions, like, and I can't remember, we don't need to go into what our questions were. It was a kind of like a private moment.
Yeah.
But we each asked a question to her, or a couple questions. And it just, as I was listening to her answer everyone's questions, because I was last.
Right.
And I mean, like I said, I think there was something to her, because just the fact that Anna was first and she had the lightest, most carefree, whatever energy, and I was last and I had the heaviest, most intense kind of like sad energy. So there was something to it, but I think not quite as much as we are made to believe that there was, because when we each asked our questions, it was vague, and it was.
Well, she gave us some feedback before we asked questions.
Yeah.
And the feedback was, or not even feedback, that's probably not the right word, but, just like initial reading. Yeah, initial insights. Yeah. It was so vague. And
wrong.
And like completely inaccurate. Yeah. And I've done psychic readings. I've worked with people who channel different types of mediums and intuitives, and this might have been the most vague and least accurate experience I've had, and the one that I was probably the most excited about.
Yeah,
because
100%.
The experience was so cultural that I was like, this is legit, guys. Like, we're going to her house.
Yeah. Like tourists don't get to go here. She's only for the locals, like all of this. And I got a bit of a witchy energy from her. I got a bit of a dark energy from her.
Definitely dark energy.
I think she was playing a little bit on the dark side. And I think the four women that walked into that space, very light energy from each and every one of us, including Wei An. Yeah. But there was definitely something a little, like I said, a little witchy about her. But
I don't think I'm intuitive enough to have called it witchy, but I definitely felt like a heaviness and a darkness, and I was like, I don't know about this.
I could tell you were so pressing her for more.
Well, I was like, do better.
I was like, oh shit, Kim.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were.
Like, you don't necessarily have to tell me when my soulmate's coming, what his name is, what month. I mean, that's not what I asked, but like, I don't need those types of specifics, but I need something that's not like, you have pain there, and you point towards my torso.
Yeah. Yeah, she did like a massive circle. She was like around like her torso to show you where. We're like, you mean like where everything resides in the body?
Like all the organs, the lungs, the heart, the stomach, a bunch of chakras intestines. In there, like, six of my chakras. Like what? What? So
give me some deets, man. What? Like, yeah.
Yeah. So I was probably shelling out. Oh, That was close. I was probably shelling out a lot of I see right through you, do better energy, and she was probably having none of that.
Oh, no, none of that. None of that. And I listened to something after, which I sent to you by Abraham Hicks, and it really helped me. And I YouTubed like Abraham Hicks psychics or whatever. And essentially what she said was like, look, like a psychic there is psychic abilities. They'll pick up on your energy with what you're projecting right now into your future.
Yeah.
So that's what they'll pick up on. It doesn't mean that that's what's going to happen. It means that with the energy that you're carrying with you, with the mindset, with everything that you got going on right now,
in this moment,
this is where you're headed. This is your trajectory. So it's more empowering in a way because, and Abraham Hicks also said, you know, like a person who trusts and knows who they are and trusts in their ability to like manifest and create their own experience doesn't even need to go see a fucking psychic in the first place because they already know. Like they already know. They're like, it's all good. That being said, sometimes
I feel like Abraham's calling me out.
Well, no, but then sometimes it's just nice. Sometimes we do feel a little bit lost and we do need a little bit of like guidance to get ourselves back to that place, which I think all of us needed, except Anna.
And that's kind of how I look at your intuitive readings. You're not necessarily telling me anything about myself I don't know, but I might be too caught up in my head to recognize it.
Yeah.
And so often what we do know to be the truth, the real truth, we still need to hear someone else say it to us. Because our intuition has steered us wrong and we maybe don't trust ourselves in that moment as much as we normally would. So I mean, the reading that you gave me in Bali, I was like, oh, yes, oh my God. And I just felt so much lighter afterwards.
Well, it was all just a reflection of you. Mm-hmm. Like it really was just like me being like, this is what I heard for you. And 100% like you knew everything I was telling you already on some level.
Totally.
So it was not new news. It was just reassuring because it was truth for you. Mm-hmm. So it was nice to hear it like out loud and to be reminded. So yeah.
I mean, going back to the breakup, which we don't have to dwell on, but there were moments where I was just like reaching out to friends to tell me what I already know. Things I know to be true.
100%.
But you just need someone else to say it. And that's okay.
Oh, totally. And support. We all need support. Like there's such a mentality in our culture these days, especially our generation, of like the hustle and like the entrepreneurship and all that business. And it's like solopreneur and you got to make it on your own. And it's like, that's very misunderstood. Like
totally agree.
We all need massive amounts of support. You will rely more on other people than you will ever rely on yourself because no one is like a one person show. It just doesn't exist.
No one gets to where they want to go alone.
No. And so it's, you know, we need things like this. Mm-hmm. But again, when you dive into the world of energy, you have to be super discerning about whose energy you play with, because just as there is light energy, there is dark. And some people come in with really light intentions can be taken over by dark energy, or they don't know how to put their boundaries up, or maybe they like to dabble in the dark energy. It's out there, and you just have to be really mindful of that.
That's another thing that I'm grateful for about Bali was the affirmation, the reaffirmation that the energy that I feel I have, you know, my sensitivity energetically is real and is sensed by others. And going back to protecting yourself, it's something that I need to be cognizant of. Mm-hmm. So just kind of learning that, getting to play with that a little bit was really fun.
Big time. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you do have to be careful. And just like a little bit of backstory, when I started to open up myself to these kind of energies for that next year, I was getting like visited in my sleep. I would become totally paralyzed at night, and then like drawers and things would open up around me, or doors downstairs would shut, and like I would wake up and I could just feel like this dark energy hovering over my body. I'd be in a room and all of a sudden it would be like, I'd be like, who the fuck is here? And it was not, it was only until I realized, I got the confidence to be like, fuck off. Like, I don't have time for your bullshit.
Yeah.
Whatever energy came in, like, be gone, like, and so you do have to be careful of that too. Like last night I started reading a book that my naturopath recommended for me called The Jaguar and the Butterfly.
Okay.
And it's all about shamanism, and even just reading those first couple pages, the room filled up with this energy. It was like I opened the portal to like this shamanic energy, and it was in my room. I had a crazy ass dream, and I woke up and I was like, the energy is like, it's gone now, but it was there in the morning, and I was like, I had to tell it to fuck off again.
So are you going to keep reading the book?
I don't know, because I am here alone, but I feel stronger in myself that I can do it. But because I am alone and I wake up in the middle of the night and there's no one to be like, I'm like, oh, give me a hug. Like
Luna.
Luna. Well, she slept by me all night, actually. She was like a magnet to me last night, more than usual. I woke up at one point and I was like, where's Luna? Where's Luna? And like, literally she was on my face. But I thought she was the pillow, and I was like, where is she? And I like backed up, and she like rolled further onto like my face. I was like, oh, there she is.
Oh my gosh, she's so funny.
Cute. Anyways, this is a tangent on energy.
That's okay. Hey, that's
when in Bali.
Yeah, when in Bali. I love it. Is there anything else Bali specific that you feel like we need to discuss?
Oh, okay.
Because it is Saturday night, and I do have dinner plans.
Okay. We're gonna wrap this up soon. Things my very quick things you need to know before coming to Bali.
I love it.
Don't pack any like sweatshirts or heavy pants or shit like that. You're not gonna need it. Maybe one pair of like sweat pants or something.
Pajama pants.
Loungy
pants.
You won't need it. You won't need it. What else do they need to know? Prepare shop. It's good. Like the prices aren't crazy cheap, but they're way cheaper than you would find at home. So like make sure you like shop and treat yourself to some massages. Like
yes,
I just yesterday had an hour-long massage in an organic like massage place for 13 Canadian dollars. Like,
it's like $11 US.
Yeah. Bring lots of bras and underwear, because you will sweat through them every day, and then you're going to have to wash all your shit all the time. So make sure you have like double the bras and underwear that you think you're going to need, double the t-shirts that you think you're going to need, because you'll sweat through them, and unless you want to be doing laundry all the time.
Yeah.
You can get a really great place, like the place I'm staying at. You can get it for super cheap. You don't have to go for the expensive. Like my place is $400 a month. Whereas like you can also find a place that you're paying way more. So like be mindful of that and search around.
Yeah. Well, and your place is a homestay.
It's a home. Yeah.
Whereas I was staying
on Airbnb.
Oh, it was on Airbnb. Okay. So shout out
Yeah.
Airbnb. I was staying at a hotel that I found on Agoda, which is an awesome booking site for anyone who's not familiar. And it was like $25 a night, something like that. So still, for $25 US, so cheap.
Yeah, compared to like what we're used to.
Yeah, I mean,
so
not hostel prices compared.
Yeah,
depends on the hostel, but
yeah,
very cheap, and it had beautiful pools. I'll add some photos in the show notes. It was awesome.
Oh, on that, make sure your place either has a pool or aircon. If there's both,
yes. You have neither right now, right?
I have neither. I'm hot.
Look at that window in the back for people watching on YouTube. Or door. Yeah. That's a door?
That's the door to my patio. My patio. But that's my patio, which I never sit on because I'm always so fucking hot.
My terrace.
What else? I don't know. Just if you haven't come to Bali.
Dabble in the vegan stuff. Drink a jamu.
Yes, drink a jamu. That's another thing. It's a good turmeric drink, good for inflammation. If you need to get some healing, come to Bali, because you will have a smorgasbord of things to choose from.
Don't get a scooter if you don't know how to drive a scooter.
Yeah.
The amount of people walking around with like really bad injuries who thought, hey, I know how to ride a bicycle. It'll be fine. Yeah. It's Bali. Everyone's doing it. I don't need a helmet, etc.
A scooter is a different thing.
It's a different thing. Katie has experience on two-wheeled electronic vehicles. So that's why she has one.
Well, I stole a scooter when I was a kid from the garage. I rode around town on it.
Real rebel. # real rebel.
I'm not proud of it. I'm not proud. Anyways, yes. I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's more. There's more to Bali. But
obviously. But this
should wrap it up because you're a busy woman.
Yeah. Well, Katie, since it is our first episode like
this. First of 4.
Yeah, first of 4. Watch out, world. I want to know what your definition of leading a bold life is.
Oh, shit.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Okay, now I'm going to ask you mine now that we're doing this. Okay.
I didn't know we were doing this.
This is like off the cuff. My definition of living a bold life is that the
or like what being bold means to you.
Being bold is realizing that nobody actually cares about what you're doing. So just go do whatever the fuck you want to do. And don't look back. And whatever that looks like for you, that's what it looks like. Awesome. It doesn't have to look like anybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that your main question? Because I have some for you now.
Yeah, lay it on me.
Okay. I'm going to do my rapid. How many do you have? How many questions?
The other one is, what is your why?
Okay, we'll do this now. Okay. Because you just asked it, so let's do it.
What's your why?
What is my why? The reason why I'm doing what I'm doing. Well,
yeah, the reason why you have the life you have. Like, you are someone who's living in Bali, still making money.
Yeah.
Why? Why is this your life right now?
Because I'm selfish. That's why. In the best way possible. Yeah. In the best way possible, because there are things that I want to experience in this lifetime, and there are gifts within me that I think can really help people. Trying not to say that in a non-egotistical way. There's like, everyone has like, we're here for a reason, and the thought to me of going through my life and not at least giving it my best shot, or at least letting my dreams be as wild as trying to actually live them.
Yeah.
Then that's a scary thought. So why? It's because it's for me. Like, I feel like people will often say, like, you know, their why is for helping other people. And I think that's definitely a part of it. But at the core of it, it's like, the reason why you're doing what you're doing is so you feel good.
Yeah.
And so that's why I'm doing it.
We all do everything we do for a feeling. Yes,
exactly. That being said, honestly, at the core of also why I do what I do is because I feel like I said, I feel like there's experience I just want to have, but I also really want to give back to the people I care the most about, which is my family. I want to be able to give the best of myself to them, and I want to be able to pay for all their shit and like all that stuff. Like, that's what motivates me. Like, if I had like endless streams of money, they would all be getting whatever the F they wanted. And so it's for family, and it's for myself.
Respect.
Sounds like a selfish answer, but it's the truth.
No, there is no right or wrong or good or bad answer.
Yeah. Okay. My
turn. Rapid fire me.
Rapid fire. Okay. So if you could have dinner with any 5 people, who would they be? Dead or alive?
Dang, you're going to ask me after a glass of wine. All right. Any 5 people. Okay. Tony Robbins. Mm-hmm. Elizabeth Gilbert.
Ooh, good one.
I love her. She's so funny. Any 5 people. Maybe Obama. Mm-hmm. He's seen a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm under the impression that I can ask these people at dinner anything that I want.
You could.
It's my dinner.
It's your dinner party.
It's my house.
My house, my rules.
2 more. I want to say like maybe Elon Musk. What's going on? What you doing?
Yeah.
What you got going
on? You doing? Okay. Yeah.
Anyone dead or alive? It's so much pressure. I wish I had more time.
I know. This is a hard one for people.
It's really hard. I'm laughing because I was like, my ex. No, I'm totally joking. Totally joking. Jokes, guys. Who do people normally say? I'm like, should I be saying like politicians and leaders?
It's different.
I know. I want to say someone. Oprah.
Yeah.
Done.
Cool. Okay. Very
Don't
good.
ask me to recite this again.
I won't. Don't worry. Okay, next one. What is a book you're reading now or had most recently read that has impacted your life?
Oh, if you're not watching this on YouTube, my eyes just got huge because I love the book I'm reading right now. It's called Breaking the Habit of Being You, How to Lose Your Mind and Create a New One. And it's by Dr. Joe Dispenza. I started reading it on the flight home from Bali. the like 11-hour flight, one of many. And it was in my Kindle app amongst all the books that were not accessible because they weren't downloaded and I couldn't download them while on the flight. But this one happened to be downloaded. It felt very kismet, very meant to be. So I opened it and read like for 6 straight hours. Essentially, it helps you understand why your thoughts create your life and how your body and your mind are actually really prohibitive in you getting like control over your thoughts. There's like a way for you to get control of your thoughts, and you need to like work through this process. I'm not explaining it very well, but it's really dope.
It's a good book.
It's so good. It genuinely feels like a game changer for me because it's almost like I've read affirmation books, I've read mindset books, and those were elementary school or high school. And this is like, now I'm getting my PhD in this concept. I can understand it on a much more scientific level, and it's blowing my mind. I love it. So yeah, Breaking the Habit of Being You. I love it.
Okay, cool. Also, we'll find that in the show notes. Okay. I have 5 questions, so we'll do this very quick. Quick. What advice would you tell your 20-year-old self?
Oh my gosh. I'm not good at quick, Katie. It's got to be very profound. No, I think I would just say follow your gut. Just trust your gut. Trust your gut and do you. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Which is kind of what I did, but I think I would sort of like hug myself and be like, seriously, keep doing that.
You're going to be fine.
You're going to be fine. It gets so much better. I think that's what I would say. It gets so much better. It gets so much easier. Keep doing you.
Keep it up. Yeah. Second to last question. That was my second to last question. Final question, which is similar to what is your why? What is your rebel cause? Like, what is the reason you get up every morning? Because
I feel like there's this epidemic of people caring so effing much about what other people think that they give away their time, they give away their energy, they give away their career choice, their family choices, their choice of where they live, because it's what they've always done, it's what everyone's always told them they should do, instead of just doing what they want, which may seem off the wall or crazy, or maybe not. Maybe it seems totally normal, but it's just different from the kind of normal they're living. And I want people to just do them. Like, I don't want people to have any regrets when they're on their deathbed. And yeah, that's what the Bold Life movement is all about. Just really being brave enough and bold enough to do you and realize that it will always serve you.
Yeah. Very good. Very powerful. I feel that from you. Woo.
Passionate.
That's awesome. Passionate. Or as you would say, do you have your accent? Passionate. No, that's way too exaggerated.
I was like, false.
False, Katie. Tone it down.
How would you say it?
Passionate.
All right, that's not normal.
I feel like everything I say is a little flat.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
And I told you I've started saying things like you. We won't get into that. We'll save that for next week.
We'll save it for next week. So next week we are coming on again next Sunday. Little Sunday morning chat. Do we know what we're talking about yet?
We'll clarify.
We'll figure it out.
It's going to be dope.
So stay tuned to find out what it is.
All right. I love you. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Love you guys.